Yes, everybody. Russ of the West Ham Network repeats alive. I'm doing a live. Hope everyone is safe and well. The West Ham Safety Network here, making sure you are safe and well. It is Friday, my friends, so it's time for another Have Your Say Friday. The opportunity for you to talk about what you want to talk about, and if you want to come on and chat along. If you don't want to talk in the chat, you're more than welcome to, my friends. Lots to talk about, haven't we? Really, we've got Mads Hermansen, I forgot his name then for a minute, imminent new number one, and he will be new number one because, as you know, the club have announced the squad numbers, and there isn't a number one because obviously Fabianski isn't there. So Mads would come in as our number one on paper, so to speak, on the actual back of the shirt. So that's exciting. We can talk about your thoughts around how that transfer happened. I've got some thoughts as well about this as well. And yeah, we've got Lille tomorrow, Lille A side at the London Stadium, back to London Stadium. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a bit excited, and I'm not afraid to say I'm excited to get back to the London Stadium. Excited to go and watch football again. I know it's only a friendly, but it's sort of it's like the last stage. It's like the Christmas Eve, isn't it, of the start of the season, and all our hopes and dreams of what the season could bring, are just there on face value. And it's only until the next half dozen games come in that we think, do you know what, we actually aren't that good, or we're gonna have an half decent season. You get a feeling off those first half dozen games. Obviously, away to Sunderland, never an easy place. We always seem to get the away side or the away game of a newly promoted side very early on in our fixture list, and that's the case this year. Now let's go with Happy Hammerette. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. I'm pleased for Potter and Max of their choice. Horrible for Victor though, but all clubs do it, I guess. That's my point, and that's the point I've been trying to make. And I know, and again, it's what's wrong with football rather than for me than what's necessarily wrong with West Ham. I'm not saying West Ham are totally squeaky clean at all. But what I'm saying is this happens all the time, and we've been victim to it many a time. We were victim to it a few weeks ago, weren't we, when we sold Kudus. I was reading a report, and someone made a good comment on one of them. They could only give us 55 million. We couldn't do 60. Oh, they haven't got enough money. And literally, as soon as we went, okay, there is Kudus, they then go and put a bid in for Gibbs White, 60 million, release clause, hits it straight away. So, you know what I mean? It's like, it happens very often. It's a bit, I say, yeah. And again, we only hear what's been reported, and, we're led to believe if it was that he was on his way to the airport, that type of thing. I think that might be exaggerated a little bit. It is a scummy thing to do. And no doubt, again, we've done it before. Don't forget, I remember when we was looking to sign Ben Rama from Brentford, and we sort of threw the deal away because of irregularities in blood tests or something like that. So, yeah, for me, that's it happens. And again, we only see what we do, and we see it with certain shades of glasses on as well, I think. So, yeah, it's again a bit scummy, but as I said, we've now got him for. I mean, originally Leicester wanted 35 million for him, and if we get him for 18 million, that's 50% off. There's a lot of Leicester City fans who aren't very happy with the negotiations of Leicester City. So, and as I said, I watched Toffee's TV the other day after our game with them in the summer series, and Peds and the boys there. If you change the accent and change the badge, it's exactly the same conversation that we're having as West Ham fans. Same with Newcastle. Look how many of Newcastle's top tier targets have gone elsewhere. And they're the richest club in the world. They should have the capability. They can pump money in as well. We know you can. I think it's about 90 million. Without in terms of funds you're allowed to bring in. They're not doing it. there's a lot of unhappy Geordies out there as well. But yeah, I think let's get Mads signed, sealed, and delivered, and then we can give it the full debrief, innit? Because it'll be typical that another side comes in from lastminute.com. It's well documented. It's all on Sky Sports and everything now. So if any club needs a goalkeeper, I don't think any clubs really need one now. Everyone seems to have one apart from us. Well, we've got Ariola, but so their goalkeeper position. Brentford have got Kelleher. Liverpool got theirs sorted. Arsenal got theirs sorted. Chelsea are going to stick with Sanchez, it looks like. I'm surprised they didn't put a bid in for Mads because of Enzo. Newcastle got Ramsdale. Burnley got what's the name from Newcastle. Bournemouth got Petrovic. I mean, Botafogo got 3 goalkeepers now because they signed Neto. So, although there has been a narrative, and I said it this morning about Victor apparently rejected West Ham. I don't think he did. Is it true Fenerbahce want Ariola? Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, I think, are interested. I don't think the intention is to sell Ariola this window. In all honesty, I know been into a lot of goalkeepers, but I think that was a ruse, so to speak, to get the Mads deal over the line. I from what I believe, what I've been told, I don't think the intention was to buy 2 goalkeepers. That's what I was told, but that's true or not, I don't know. I have no idea, Daz, to be honest. No idea. Carl, I'm very well. Hope you're well. Nice to see you. Damien, hope you're well. Afternoon, Frogging are well. Everyone's look, mate, we need Hutchinson from Ipswich. I think I'm going to touch on this and Hammer's headlines a little bit later on in terms of what happens next. What's next? What's the next move? Mads is in. Now we know the midfield is the next move. We've spoken about. I spoke in Hammer's headlines about obviously a couple of players we linked to. We are not the preferred target for that midfield position. Hasn't been released, it seems, to the ITCos, to the news. So there are a number of players we've been linked with and probably have interest in, but clearly it was either Mads or Suzuki were the 2 goalkeepers that we wanted. I always thought there was a preference on the pitch to get Mads in, a preference off the pitch to get Suzuki in. Suzuki will basically transfer would pay for himself in terms of shirt sales in the Far East and stuff like that. Whereas Mads on paper fits what we want in terms of adjustments to the Premier League. The goalkeeper coach is already there and that type of thing. West Ham 2-0, it's on TV. Now, someone told me, I'm going to have a look now. Someone said it is on the website, but you have to pay for it. Yeah, you have to pay for it. If you want to pay for it, it's $4.99. But it is free for season ticket holders. So get a season ticket holder friend, and you can, simply. Apparently, if you're a season ticket holder, you simply log into your account to watch on the day. If not, you have to do a video package. We don't. We have Bowen, Guilherme, and Paqueta. Oi, Savoy, I hope you're well, old man. How many players have dropped us bet opposite although it's crucial? We don't know, do we? We don't know. As I said, today I talk about our 201st player that we've been linked with this summer transfer window. And yeah, that's mental. That's mental, isn't it? And I think that's part of the issue. Look at the goalkeeper position. We must have been this. I reckon goalkeeper. We've been linked with 15 goalkeepers at least. You've got things like Ramsdale, Petrovic, Sanchez, Michael Cooper. Obviously, you've got Livakovic, obviously Mads, Victor. You had the other Victor Johansson from Stoke City. You've had Michael Zetterer. You've had Robert Rom. It must be at least 15 players we've been linked to for that one position. Ipswich on a 35-minute. Very true. Although I was talking to my Wickham friend today, and Wickham turned down 10 million from Luton last summer, and now, according to reports for Kone, now he's apparently 3 million. It's price tag. Things change very, very quickly in football. I mean, I've been funny. Leicester wanted 35 million for Mads originally. Afternoon, happy Hamlet. Nice to see you. Viva George, John Victor, indeed. Gaz, hope you're well. Sorry for Victor if he was. I don't think he was, Gaz. I don't think he was, honestly. I genuinely don't think he was. And I think the trouble is that narrative's been put out and mud sticks, doesn't it? I don't think he would be at the airport. I think that is a lot of journalism. In the same way that I don't believe that Victor turned us down. I don't believe that either. You got to give Ari his chance to keep his shirt. No evidence in the West Ham shirt, the new keeper. Yeah, very true. Very true. Sully stitched up, left him stranded. Used to get mad for less money. At least the keeper's in at last. Again, I don't think it was like literally got through passport control at Rio de Janeiro airport and was boarding a plane to be turned around. I don't think it's that extreme. But the trouble is, we as fans have taken that and gone, that's it. We're shysters and stuff. And I'm not discrediting, because obviously we have done a lot of dodgy stuff in terms of deals, but it automatically we're on a downer of whatever. You know, we should be happy in a way that that Graham Potter's got his target. We should be happy that, the person Potter wanted, Potter got. We've been led to believe quite often not that, that deals get influenced with Callum Wilson and stuff like that. This is a Potter man. Diouf was a Potter man as well. So that should be, and we've got him for a decent price. As I said, if we'd spend £35 million on Mads Hermansen, everyone in the world of West Ham would be like, what the fuck are we spending? It's about 15, 20 million too much for a goalkeeper. Now we've got him for a decent price. Now, how have we got to that deal? Maybe dark arts, maybe a bit of underhand tactics, but I think we're taking it a lot more extreme. That's my opinion. You've got your own opinion, and I get that. There we go. David, hi Russ. In your opinion, what is your ideal midfielder? Can you read anything to regard and get number 4 shot? Well, I mean, Alvarez plays number 4 for Mexico, as we said. Aguerd's moved to a first 11 number, so to speak. So has Kilman. I think you can read into it. If a player gets a worse number, not worse number, but a higher up number, like a 30 or something from a 10, I think you could read into that. But by being brought in, I just don't think it is as much, really, to be honest. But yeah, I've just seen the dog's just been dropped in. So obviously Mrs. Buttons elsewhere. I mean, it is his box to box, as I said, and actually I can't believe that Nick from Clayton Blues actually agreed with me. But the one person I'd really want that position, I'd really want Conor Gallagher. I just think he's perfect for us. We probably won't get him, and if we did get him, it'd probably be at the expense of someone like Edson Alvarez. But yeah, all energy, proper box to box, good engine. Can link up play. As I said, Rafael Onyedika from Club Rouge is someone I've always admired as well. We need some energy alongside someone like Freddie Potts, for example, would work really well. I thought we was going to get 2 goalkeepers with backup. We all know we're going to throw his toys. No, I think the idea was always going to be 1 goalkeeper. Fearon to get Fearon's too. Again, Happy Amaret, you watched the academy show. It's too early for Fearon. The lad's only played 20 minutes one game. He's not ready for the step up. Not yet. For me, he comes in. Oh, let me sort the dog out quickly. Sorry. Bell, come sit. Bell, come sit. Come here. Pillow. There you go. Otherwise, the dog will be going all fucking day if I don't put a pillow down for it. No, Samuel's Edris Golombekis, who travelled as well. These guys can get. I mean, they don't have to get a squad number as such. As I said, Preston this year will be a full season. The under 21s. Under 21 start on Monday, the 18th. Shush. against Nottingham Forest at home, 7 o'clock kickoff. They actually start their season on the Wednesday before, away to Woking, but I'm not surprised he hasn't got a shirt number at all. 23-24, 12 missed one season. Not sure it's a cure to our ills, but hope so. Let's hope so. It's free if you haven't paid for it. True. Someone's not paying 80 million for keeper to be kept on the bench. He's coming in. No, exactly. And again, there was narrative that we were only getting Victor because he was happy to compete rather than come in as number one. The fact is, Hermansen's coming in and he'll have the number one shirt. So, that's a little bit of symbolism there for me. He will be the number one. He will be. That's, the goalkeeper coach. This was his, Casper, the friendly goalkeeper coach. That was his number one target. You've got Potter's number one. Potter and Carl McCauley's number one target. And I think it's good. Ariola's been absolute crap pre-season, and it's because, in my eyes, he hasn't had any competition. And so, he knows that Fodringham's not going to take it over. He knows that, I don't know, Finn Herrick, Mason Terry's going out load to Braintree. There's nothing heard from him. I'm so impressed with Diouf, one of the first to see his debut. The airport thing sounds like pure heart. Exactly, he does. And I think sometimes you have to step back a little bit, because I think, which is what we try and do. We go through all the rumours, and we try and put the Rusty rumour rating, the original rumour rating towards them, because I think you have to look at everything with a pinch of salt. And, when we've been linked with 201 players, we have not had discussions with 201 players at all. As I said, I reckon probably about a 10th, maybe, we've actually had like concrete discussions with, rather than agent talk. And that's a massive thing, because, we'll say, oh, we've been linked with this player, and he goes to another club, and you go, oh, we missed out on him. We probably weren't even genuinely in for this guy. So everything you have to see is with a pinch of salt. And I think also we look at things with, a lot of people look at things with anti-West Ham glasses already, saying, oh, typical West Ham. But actually, we might not have been in for this person. It might have been this one. It might have been a bid like this Victor deal to get Mads. So we don't know. We never know what's going on. In terms of the information that gets fed out to sources and ITKs, and that's stuff that's put out by the source. Very rarely do you hear stuff which isn't meant to be for public consumption, in terms of they won't tell you a piece of information that they shouldn't be telling you. If that makes sense. So again, everything and we all football fans are the same, not just West Ham fans, all over the place. I reckon Mads could feature tomorrow. Too soon. He might be announced tomorrow, but yeah, too soon. Although he might get off in the Lil B side, behind closed doors. Warming into it. I don't know. Budgie, good afternoon, dude. Don't forget to check out Old School Hammers with Budgie and Kieran every Wednesday. Great fun. Also, can I mark your card? Possibly. I'm recording on My Hammers 11 over the weekend with a very special player and ex-player, and that will probably go out on Monday night. Just watch it. I'm looking forward to doing the interview, but just marking your card if you're a bit, why should we play? Couldn't we play others? We got shafted. That's what I mean. I remember Steiden under, he would regularly use Florian Peltenberg and Fabrizio Romana to put out stories about players we're interested in, to force clubs to put, to agree to our terms. There was the whole thing with Jean-Claire and Juventus and all that stuff. That was all stuff that was put out and stuff. And then there was stuff that was put out about the goalkeeper situation, saying, Mads and Suzuki only wanted first, to be the number one. I want every goalkeeper we want to be in the number one, not just compete. Like, I want everyone to come in and go, right, yeah, I want to be the best goalkeeper of this club. Thanks, Paul. I try to. Ben, hope you're well, mates. Are you still over in Spain? Let us know. Seen Spurs already turning on Kudus. Yes, they are. And to be honest, saying a lot of things that we have been saying about West Ham fans about him, in all honesty. So Mads in Victor. Indeed, we've spoken about that. Damon will take Gallagher. That might have been Leicester starting that price, but they've never had that bit actually turned down. Again, they may well or not. Again, stuff gets put out into the press to exaggerate prices, to evaluate. 35 could have been a total package. It could have been 20 with 15 add-ons. That's the thing. It's so easy to interpret stuff, the way things are said, the way reports are given. And we're all human beings. We've all got a fucking sensible head on our shoulders. We look at things. I look at things the first thing I look at when something comes out is who's reported it, where's it come from, trace it back, then you can make a decent, and actually sometimes, there's no substance in my view of Conor Gallagher. I don't know if we linked to him, but I always liked him as a player. And, I'd imagine that, Atletico would be interested if a deal was on the table. Same as we're interested in any deal for our players, with the exception of maybe Bowen and Wan-Bissaka, and obviously the new boys. What we got here? Jim, how are you, my friend? Hope you are well, mate. Hope you are well. We need to get Jim back on the channel. Big Jim. That's what we want to see. More Jim. Couldn't distribute copies of Watchtower these days. Dennis, God, this is like a who's who of old friends. Buongiorno, indeed. We'll possibly off when you get this. Glad Potter got his keeper. Needs sort of midfield. Mavropanos gives me and Becky anxiety. See, I was thinking about the centre back positions as, thinking, do we need another one? We let Caelan Casey go. But actually, if you look at options, we've obviously got the back three. As it stands, without selling anyone. Then you've got Mavropanos as fourth choice. Then you've got potentially Diouf, who could play left side of the back three as well. He's done that. Wan-Bissaka can play the right side of the back three. You've got Alvarez, who plays centre back as well and has done that for Mexico. Did it in most of the Gold Cup, actually. Souček's even done that as well. Plus, you've got the kids like Idris, Ezra Mayes, people like that who could drop in as well. And so I don't think we need to spend money on a centre back at the moment. I don't think we do. We've probably got about half a dozen options. Not necessarily great options, but there's enough in the tank. And it'd be great to give someone like, Idris, Golombekis or Ezra Mayes or Josh Briggs an opportunity to even get in the matchday squad, particularly with Caelan out. There's a space there for them potentially. Everyone's talking to each other. Budgie and Kieran and Damien's having a good chat. What has Spurs been? Well, they were slagging him off after the friendly the other day. Was it 4-0 they lost? They said he was very poor. After in Lincolnshire, in Bourne, still need to buy a striker. I don't think we will, in all honesty. Just don't think we will. And if we do, it'll be a deal. So they're like Richard Kone from Wickham, 3 million quid. I think that's pump money. He's getting in. Possibly someone like Idrissa Gueye, who we've spoken about. Someone who is young, hungry, 15 million quid. I think if we sold someone, we could bring him in. Middle priority is get his midfield sorted. I still think Josh Brown was coming on a free transfer, but that's just me. But we'll see. Jason, good afternoon to you. Budgie did a brilliant watch on commentary. I see, it was all my idea as well. Got to say, Fulkrug has seemed to give. Do you know what? Fucking has, hasn't he? I've literally think and people say, oh, you always love Fulkrug, but I do. I think he's what he brings is a bit of character, which we've now lost with Antonio going. Now, with the whole debate about that. But I thought with Fulkrug, he looks fit, he looks lean, he looks happy, he looks energized. And, I'm not being funny, if Diouf's knocking them balls in, if there's anyone we've got in the squad at the moment who can put in the back of the net from there, headers, that type of thing, it's Fulkrug. And I think Diouf's going to get a good few assists this year. I think was it Soufal got, was it 8 or something like that assists 1 year, 8, 10 or something? It was ridiculous. And I think Diouf with that whip could easily do that old magic. I'm looking really forward, and actually some of the TikToks, he seems to have a really good relationship with Mavropanos. They're really good friends. Bowen and Paqueta. I mean, even scoring that goal and doing that silly little celebration. Love all that. Love all that. Just shows us togetherness, which, to be honest, a togetherness which will probably get us half a dozen points this year. When the chips are down, having that team spirit really makes a massive difference in those tough games. AWB still an option. Yep, agreed. Totally agree. Hermansen speaks English, and Victor could not, as a goalkeeper, is very important. It is indeed. And also, Mads and the goalkeeper coach know each other. They've worked together at Bromby. Mads knows the Premier League. He ticks a lot of boxes. He's young. He's 25. 18 million pounds. You could, in theory, if he goes on to have a career as long as Fabianski, you could have him for 15 years as the goalkeeper, or if not even as a first choice goal, 10 years as a first choice, 5 years as a second. That's a credible. It's just over £1 million a year. If it's lasted that long, obviously it would have to last that long, which I hope it would do. But I think it's a great deal. 25, good age, energetic, not the tallest, 6'2", not the tallest goalkeeper, but he's got a good leap on him. Some of the Leicester guys said, he was brilliant for them that season. So look, we shall see what he brings. Obviously, not technically and officially a West Ham player just yet, but that will happen in the next 24 hours, I'd assume, bar any West Ham type debacles, which wouldn't put it past us at all, knowing us. Michael, good afternoon to you. We need a box. We certainly do. Won't take long for the penny to drop at Spurs. Fox has been natural leader. Question was Kudus about Apple players seem so much together. Thoughts? Possibly. I don't know. He had a group of players, a group of friends at the club. You can see that in terms of when he left, in terms of the people who went back to, came and said, oh, good luck on the move and things like that. There is slight question mark about his. I'm not selling him at all, but there was reports about his attitude. He obviously fell out with Lopetegui. A lot of the others did as well, so I'm not reading too much into that. We'll see. The players do seem to be, but to be honest, they seem to be happy, even before he'd left. So there we go. That's Gay looks like a good egg. Happy Friday, Scott. Nice to see you. Seeing it was a chick off the old block. Russ, we have Potts, Scars, Guilherme, any of it sticking with the main squad there, in your opinion? What's happening with Earth? Earthy's injured. If you listen to one of our videos earlier in the week, had a chat with George Earthy, exclusive interview at the Asda garage at the top of the road here in Hornchurch. Had a sort of a ankle support didn't look like it was a full. It looked like one you'd buy off a counter. Didn't look like sort of particularly street. And he was driving, and it was his right foot. So and even if it's an automatic, you still need the right foot to drive. So I think he'll be integrated back into the first team when he recovers from injury. Won't be too long, I don't think. I think Orford will go out on loan. And that's it at the moment, I think. That being said, some of the cup games you might see someone like Preston Fearon come in, Airdris come in, might see Daniel Cummings come in when he returns back from his shoulder injury, his shoulder operation. So I think you see a few coming through, maybe. Stinks is a disgrace. Fair enough, mate. I gave my thoughts about that. Agree on Falkwood. My German mates adore him. Still like Charlie Cresswell. Au revoir, ladies. All the best, mate. Leicester City Fan TV on Meltdown about how we said West Ham have had their pants, and we had our pants pulled down with Kudus. Anyone seen the Paqueta body cam footage? It's very funny, I understand, but lacks pace. McTominay. I mean, look, we all joked about how fucking Moyes wanted McTominay. He's on the Ballon d'Or list and had an absolute stormer for Napoli, wasn't he? He played fantastically. Do you think there'll be some interesting scenarios whereby coaches the subs, whereby Potter coaches the subs? Do you think there'll be an interesting scenario whereby Potter chose the subs? I don't understand that, David, but yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Wilson and how he's integrated in there. So if he's on a paper play, there will be a pressure on by Wilson on Potter to play him. And I think Potter's response will be, show me in training. So if Wilson wants to play, he has to have a good training sessions and stuff. So I'm not too adverse on that as an option. Should hire some coaches around Potter. He may as well make this his home. I would love the Birmingham striker from Fulham, says Kim Joe. I missed that, Russ. I wonder if he'll get on loan or we'll keep him to. I don't know who that is that you're talking about, but anyway. Oh, was that George Earthy? Oh, okay. I think we'll keep him. I don't think he'll be recovered from injury. Probably not till the end of the transfer window anyway. So maybe go out in January if he's not getting many game time. I think, if he's in terms of his recovery, I think he might drop into the 21s for a bit, get some game time. There are a lot of games in the 21s coming up, particularly in October. And then I think he'll go out on loan. I think so. Probably to Norwich. Liam Manning. Sorry, not Liam. Yeah, he's Liam Manning at Bristol City. He's now at Norwich. So I can see him moving for him. Will we ever score a free? I don't think he will. How about Hoyland on loan? We're linked to Hoyland, but I just can't see it happening. Just yet. We never be too quite sure. We are back to. That's a shame, mate. Hope you are well. Like Charlie Cresswell, just been told we have been offered Grealish. I think we've been offered him. I think he's been offered to Everton as well. I mean, for someone like Grealish, it's going to come down to wages, isn't it? Really, how much wages? I mean, I think a fit Grealish. You got to think it's a World Cup year. He'll want to play as long as he's fit. He's a great player. As long as it's not impacting us. As long as he's not curtailing maybe the progress of some other players. He's a player I've always admired. Mrs. Budden might come to more games because she fancies him. So there we go. I heard rumblings it's available for cheap. We bring in too many youngsters, it will stump the progress into the squad. You're right, there's a balancing act, Michael. That's what I've been trying to say. Happy I talk about Preston Fearon. There's no point necessarily bringing him in unless he's going to be playing regularly coming off the bench, and he's not, and he just doesn't. He's only 18, 19. So for me, what he needs is a season in the 21s, maybe even 2. Maybe or next season go out on loan. That's the way you do it. You integrate them slowly, and when they can command a position like Freddie Potts can now in the first team squad, regular first team minutes, then you bring him in so you don't stunt his progress. Callum Marshall, I think Callum Marshall. Well, see, I put him down as a Danny Ings role this year, but with Callum Wilson now there, I think he'll take that mantle when fit. So it'd be interesting to see how they handle Callum Marshall. Same with Lewis Orford. I think Lewis will go out on loan, do the Freddie Potts thing, get some minutes out. That's how I see that will happen. But someone asking where he got. Yeah, please do. It'd be interesting. Would you swap Grealish for Paqueta? No. Does anyone know anything about Lille? They're bringing 2 squads. Any top players we should be keeping an eye on? Well, they got rid of a load of players already, haven't they? Angel Gomez, Jonathan David. They'll be bringing 2 squads. One squad will be playing the B side later on one squad. Yeah, Lil B, not the rapper. We'll be playing a sort of West Ham 11. So I imagine that'll be 21s plus first teamers. You don't get much minutes on Saturday. That'll be, I think, behind closed doors on Sunday. That could, maybe that could be Mads. Could get a run out, just to, I don't know, loosen the, I don't know. Love says go and get Lewis Ferguson, Bologna captain, good midfielder. Nice one, man. I'll start midfield, says Nelly. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Me neither. Everyone's talking to each other. Russ, if you're rating the Diouf signing, what would you give it? Get 8.5. Would have been a 10 if Emerson was sold. Emerson's still in a bit of limbo at the moment. In terms of that, we spoke about this morning. Question: are we playing a game on Sunday versus Villa with trialists? I imagine they may well be trialists in there for the first team, not the first team, for the youth system. That's what we tend to do. But I think we'll have enough. You got to think if we start. I don't think there'll be a complete, one half one team, one half other team on Saturday. I think there'll be a number of substitutions. But also, the squad's big enough with the academy and some players coming back. Even if I don't know, I'm just making up. If Andy Irving gets 15 minutes, say tomorrow, he could well start on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, be interesting to see what happens. It's a strange one, the Betway Cup, the BS, the Betway Cup, sorry, the BS Cup. I'd like to see us progress from the summer series. I think we've seen some good games playing. The first game was crap, second game was a lot better. The last game was better. There's definitely we've seen better passages of play, better movement, better use of the ball throughout the 3 games as we've gone further and further through them. I would love us to see a bit more progression. If anything, starting the not necessarily the starting 11 for Sunderland, but pretty much the starting 11 will be great. Of course, there may be a goalkeeper change, but seeing the back 5 as it is, let the back 5 again give them some reps playing together in a match against a decent side. Let's see Freddie Alvarez and Paqueta, if that's what we're going to go with, or maybe if Alvarez still getting back to fitness, whether it's Paqueta, Potts, and Prowse, and that's what I want to see. Let's see some stuff around that. And then obviously Sunday will be more patterns of play and different players getting opportunities to play. Like I imagine Preston and people like that. I think we desperately need a box-to-box midfielder on both anchors. I could see, but we are still in a hole in midfield. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that once Hermansen's done, that's what it is. All balls out. Now, to be honest, the question must be said: why are we going to the last week of the transfer before a season starts? Still trying to get a critical play piece of the pie, which will probably need that person will need pre-season training and which is really frustrating. But we are what it is, I can't cry over spilt milk. We're there now. We've got to move on. Glad to see the back of Kudus, this disinterest and work and lazy layoffs after doing it. Grossly overrated. Spurs are deserving suitors. Big question at the club. Willing to let Antonio be at the first home games of fans. There will be, if I am led to be believed, in terms of what we've heard, there will be a return for Mikhail presented at a game. Don't know when. Don't know where, but I know we'll meet again. So there will be an opportunity for him to say goodbye. Obviously, he was welcomed onto the pitch, when he was walking last season. But there will be an opportunity to say goodbye to Mikhail on the playing staff. Now, obviously, there is still conversations in the background in terms of maybe a coaching capacity, ambassadorial role, things like that. I think I was listening to Gonzo. Was it yesterday? He said he wants him to carry on playing. If he thinks he can carry on playing, according to Mikel Antonio's agent, they've got much better deals than West Ham on the table. So hopefully he'll sign one of them if they're really there. Let's go for a few more comments. We got one good season out of him. We did, and then he got found out as well. I genuinely believe he got found out, and I don't think there was enough in his. He's going to have some great games. He's going to have some because when he's on it, and he's really good. He's really unusual to have that sort of that power and pace. A bit like Brian Mbeumo. When he's really bit between his teeth, he's unstoppable. But last season particularly, the team didn't play well. He didn't play very well, and people sort of knew how to mark him. 2 or 3 around him, keep him tight. He'll get frustrated, and he lashed out, and it shows. Even that lashing out against Spurs. And he got that 5-game ban. That to me shows that actually this dude has a short fuse. And what are we going to do? We play against them. We're going to roll Kudus up because we know he's got a short fuse. Our average player has dropped, mind you, with the oldest team in the Premier League. Well, it has dropped because we got rid of 5 over 30-year-old players, or 6 actually, didn't we? Got rid of Fabianski at full, the oldest player in the Premier League. Cresswell, Antonio was 35, 36, something like that. Soufal was in his 30s. Cresswell was in his mid-30s. Danny Ings was in his 30s as well. Was that 5? I've lost count. So naturally, we already, even by putting kids in those positions, I'm not certain Gas any offers, let alone good ones, had any offers that said I would prefer him to Wilson. Yeah, you're probably right. Ain't scored was following on from last season. Antonio would be a very good championship player. He would be. But whether that in his ego to do that, because players do have an ego and they don't want to drop it. It's not. I'm not saying it in a detrimental way to Antonio. Players have a high opinion of themselves. They have to try and, that's the cutthroat nature of football. As 97% of academy players never play a minute of Premier League football. You have to be that good to play in the Premier League. And so would he want to carry? I personally think he should have, I don't know, someone like a Burnley or someone like that, where he can come on and make an impact. Or go to the States and go to the MLS and earn a lot of money. Or fuck it, go to Saudi, mate. Go to Saudi, like all that dollar. Well, it's not dollar, but anyway. So this is why recruitment needs to lead to players playing their best positions. If they are, they're happy. I'm more positive. I'm more about profiles and stats. Bad on West Ham that go and then sign his best mate and give him. Well, again, it's like we offered the deal to, again, it's all about narrative. We offered a similar deal to Antonio in terms of what was on the table for Wilson. So, if we were led to believe, Antonio wanted more money. And West Ham didn't see enough money in him, enough value. So, for me, I don't think that is. I don't think that's a fault on West Ham. They have a budget, and Antonio is an aging player, and that was the money that was available to him. Now, he hasn't taken it up, but Callum Wilson has. And the fact is, the number 9 shirt's not there because Antonio had left. So he'd already left. So I'm not really, in all honesty, maybe, last year wasn't his great year anyway. Then he got injured. I think if he hadn't gone injured, he might not have he'd have left the contract at the end of the season, maybe already. I don't know. I read everything. I just think, well, again, is it because we've got anti-West Ham glasses on? So anything we look at in a certain way, and actually, if we fall back, in the same way that Wilson was offered a deal at Newcastle, a similar deal to the deal he's got at West Ham. So why has he gone for West Ham and not for, obviously a signing on fee and stuff? So, it's all Mikel will go to Newcastle now. We do have clowns running the club. You and your profiles. What do you think about the new shirt and the new sponsor? I like the away shirt. I like the third shirt. Home shirt I find a bit lazy. Sponsor, it's going to be for a year. Next year will be interesting because it'll be a longer term. Obviously, we've got the new shirt sponsors, the new shirt manufacturers. So they'll be really wanting to make an effort, plus a new shirt sponsor, which I would assume will be an American brand, just because it's just the way we're going. Sorry, Russ, currently, and the support is unbelievable. Oh, sorry, Neil, boring you. Love Antonio, but really, this is a 3 seasons too long. Makes no sense in letting him go, and a replacement is. My concern remains what at present is the failure to address the midfield. I don't know why we haven't done it yet, but whether it's a lack of funds available, whether it's a lack of options in terms of the people we want don't want to come to us, or the people we do want to come to us don't want to explore other options. And that, I genuinely don't know. Antonio's ego has caught up with him. I think he should take a year and reassess. I've heard Wilson on bait, but if he gets on the pitch, yeah, he does. Well, I think if he gets on the pitch and he scores and they win or whatever, right? If we get a new midfielder, well, I think if you get a new midfielder in tomorrow, he ain't going to play until he's got to get into the squad. He has to get match fit. I don't know, to be honest, Scott. No idea. Should go the whole hog and have Billy Smart as the main shirt sponsor. There we go. Right, peeps, I'm going to have to dash, I'm afraid. Thank you very, very much for your time, as per usual. Tomorrow I'll be doing the match day morning ahead of the game against Lille. I've got the team there. And we probably will do a post-match reaction outside the ground. So if you are around, come and say hello. And yeah, we'll have Hammer's headlines a bit later on if we do get any announcements about Mr. Hermansen being signed. We'll obviously bring that to you as soon as we get that information. But until next time, take care. Give it a little like. Much appreciated. Support the channel. Also, don't forget we've got the Trevor Brooking signed shirt for the Lexi campaign. That is coming to an end tonight. So don't forget to get your tickets in for that, or there's we can donate straight to the GoFundMe page. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and see you soon. Much love. Bye.